All right, part 3, the betrayal. I'm not sure why this dude in the opening dies, but he does. So there you go. Not really sure what that's all for, but there you go. Um, and yeah, Franny is pregnant. Does Harold know? Um, yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Why? Why? Like, whose fucking kid is it? I don't get it. Anyway, um, yeah, you talked about that a bunch. We got the Stephen King cameo in here, which actually Stephen King's cameo in part 3 from here on. He's got a decent role. I mean, he's probably got 3 minutes of screen time, if not more. So it's a bigger than a cameo. And Harold doesn't seem to want to be seen by Miss Abigail. I don't even know if, or Mother Abigail. I don't. I'm trying to remember. Does Mother Abigail ever even see him? Not sure. Does he ever dream about her? I don't know if he ever talks about it. So that's an interesting thing. But a lot of things are unexplored in this. For a 6-hour movie, you think they'd explore things better than that, but they don't. And there's a lot to cover here, so I should stop harping on the 6-hour thing, but still. Hopefully in the new one, the 10-hour one, we'll get more exploration of these things. You got Boulder, Colorado for the good people and Las Vegas for the bad people, so they're not that close, but they're close enough to drive. They're not close enough to walk, although in this movie they suggest otherwise, since she makes them go out on foot, which is very religious kind of thing to do. It sells well in the Bible, but on TV it's like, why couldn't they just take a car? Like, why'd they have to walk? That's so silly to me. They don't really explain it at all. But we're going to say that for the fourth part, because I have a lot to say about that. And Abigail doesn't trust Nadine from the jump, as I'd kind of already talked about. They turn the power back on to the town, which would immediately change the morale of everybody as soon as they got back to the comforts of the past. People just need structure. I mean, we see this time and time again in movies. We see this time and time again in any fucking country, in any time in history. People always have leaders. People always need some kind of guidance. They always need someone to look up to. They always need some kind of a structure, some kind of a hierarchy, some kind of a some kind of leadership. And I've never been one to follow much, so I don't know if it's just my mentality, and there's just people like me who are born to lead, and then there's people who are like most other people who are born to follow. I guess if everyone was like me, then the world would be chaos, or maybe it would be better. I don't know. I really don't. Like, does our innate desire to kind of fall in line to the alpha our downfall, or our strength, or both? I mean, they both, obviously, like anything, things are about balance. Is it, are we one way too much, or one way not enough? Or I really honestly don't know. But the world hasn't completely blown up yet, so for now, I guess we're doing well enough to be alive. Not saying that's good enough, just saying we are still here. But yeah, people need that, so they appoint Stu and a bunch of other people, of course, all the people we know, because that's why we followed them. That's the way I always justify that in my head, because people are like, sometimes you'll talk to them about, well, of course they made the people we know the leaders, or they're the big deal, or whatever. It's like, yeah, well, that's why we followed those characters. We could have followed any of the other characters, but these are the characters we followed for a reason, because they're the important ones. Oh, god dang it, stop fucking yawning, it's so annoying. And Abigail just disappears. Not really sure why, and then when she comes back, she's like sick and falls into a coma. It's not explored like at all. She doesn't really give a good explanation of why she leaves, but that yet another thing that I'm sure is explored in the book. They need to go spy on Randall Flagg. Now, this is an issue I have with part 4. So maybe I should save it for that. But at the same time, I don't want to forget about it. But I'm not really sure why the Randall Flagg people are the bad guys are all that worried about Mother Abigail's people, because Flagg's telling them to be, of course. But outside of that, I'm not really sure why they care all that much. And then they kind of illustrate that the fear in the Mother Abigail compound is that Randall Flagg's brigade there is going to launch some kind of missile attack on them and kill them off. So there is that concern and that worry. For me, I would sit there and wonder, like, why don't they just move instead of being in Boulder, Colorado? Maybe get away from Vegas where they know they're at, and everyone start heading east. Maybe make your way to like New York City or something. Like, why are you in Boulder, Colorado? Like, that's a state over from Nevada. I don't understand, but they're pretty close to one another, and they guess they need to send in the spy, so they kind of make Tom Cullen into a sleeper agent, put a bunch of shit into his head when he's under hypnosis, and get him to go out and spy for them. It ends up not really doing anything outside of him saving Stu. His spying doesn't really amount to anything. So they send him out there, and it's kind of for no reason. He comes back and he saves Stu's life, sure. But his spying doesn't really amount to anything. So, for me, this is my point with the ending. Like, I'll get to the ending stuff, but fuck. There's so many things that are just kind of like, okay, so that happened, big deal. We got a lot of this, like, Lethal Weapon guitar riffs in here. You know, those, like, slower sequences with that, like, real sensual, sexy kind of guitar riffs. I guess is how you'd put it. It was making me laugh when I was listening to it. Nadine claims to Larry that if he sleeps with her, she can stay. I guess her virginity would free her if she was to lose it. Which, if that's the case, then why doesn't she just fuck Harold? Like, she's like, oh, well, I can blow you, and I can do anal, and you can fuck my tits, and you can shit on my chest, or whatever the fuck you're into, but no vaginal penetration. Because Randall Flagg says it's so, and she just, like, it doesn't, like, I don't understand that. Like, if Nadine's so hard up to fuck Larry because she wants to stay, yeah, she wants to be with Larry, this and that, but I feel like her main desire for that moment is to stay. And if that's the case, and if her virginity is all that's keeping her from staying, then why doesn't she let, dude stick it in her? Like, why isn't Harold able to, enter door number one? Like, I just don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. She's afraid of Flagg at this, like, she doesn't want to go there anyways. But she does have a caring for him, but I guess an attraction, I don't know. But as soon as she gets there and he starts, like, kissing on her and whatnot, she's like, no, and then he turns, of course, demon face on her, and that's when she's like, oh, hell no, and he ends up raping her anyway. But she never seems to be, like, it's almost, I guess she does have some kind of liking to Flagg, and Larry's the only one that she really likes, and then by that point, when Larry kind of shoves her down and does his thing, like, she's just kind of like, all right, I guess Flagg it is, and he's asking me to get Harold to betray the townspeople here. But anyway, so Nadine tries to seduce Larry, and he throws her ass to the ground. He's had it with her, which was, yeah, we got some pimp slapping on Shawnee Smith. We got Nadine thrown to the ground. I'm not sure that was necessary, but she needs to get the message. She could have really ruined his shit. Although he ends up dying, so I guess didn't really matter. The committee has to make hard decisions, and in that moment, it actually has a moment of levity where, like, Larry is like, "Oh, you're cute when you're angry." Right after, there's this big moment of, like, who decides to die and live and all this stuff. I don't know, it kind of feels out of place. Like, I feel like Larry should have stayed stern in that moment. Like, no, like, what the fuck, Stu? you know, maybe like, all right, I'll back down from it, but like jokes and laughter, and then like we just agreed that all of us, like a lot of us, have to die. I don't find that to be a moment to make a joke and everyone to let the tension out. Like, I get it, you have to make bad decisions, but I don't know. And shit, I already talked about a lot of this stuff. Franny's worried the baby won't come out immune. That would be a very big concern, but as the doctor states, anyone who was immune that had the kid, they should be fine. And then Harold refers to Nadine as juicy. So I had an ex-girlfriend once, and at that time, of course, she was my girlfriend, and she was trying to do some foreplay, say some kinky things, try to get me turned on. And she grabbed it herself and she said, "I'm so juicy." And it was, to this day, the most disgusting thing anyone's ever said to me in the bedroom. And for some reason, I just get ill every time I think of that moment. I don't know what it is about that verbiage there. But referring to your vagina as juicy, ugh, it's actually making me sick to say it. But when he says it in this, it sparked my mind on that. Is anybody with me? It's like a moist thing, right? Like, we all have those words. People are like, oh, I can't hear that word. Moist is so gross, this and that. But referring to your vagina as juicy, it's not a turn on for me. Maybe it'll work for some other person, but for me, that is disgusting. I don't know, just thinking of it juicy. Blech. Blech, blech, blech. And then Harold, of course, is the pawn, and he puts a thing on his head before he shoots himself that he was betrayed. I don't think anyone ever finds Harold's body, so no one ever really gets to know that Harold issued an apology of sorts. So he kind of dies like that. So, but fuck him. You know, he was manipulated into doing horrible things. Yeah, Harold gets some oral and some anal or something. I don't know what the hell he's doing with Nadine, but he gets that, and he turns into a serious dick with women. Like, he seemed to be a pretty nice, geeky guy before that, but as soon as he got his dick sucked, all of a sudden this guy becomes a total 50s husband and is just like slapping women around and telling them where their place is, and it's, yeah, wow. Nick and 5 other people blow up in this house, and multiple others are injured. You got the Mick Garris cameo in this, so another little cameo here. And 4 of you need to leave right now with no water? Is that what she says? On foot? Like, whoa, that's some serious faith right there. What the fuck? Are you serious? No way. I swear she says no water. If that's accurate, and they're trying to walk from Boulder, Colorado, even with water, walking from Boulder, Colorado to Las Vegas, Nevada would take forever. Okay? Fucking forever. So, yeah, right. Ridiculous. And I kind of find it fucked up that the dude takes his dog on a suicide mission with him. I don't know. For some reason, that rubs me the wrong way. Like, hey, I'm about to go die. I'm going to take my dog with me. Come on, like, dog, we're going to go die together. Like, it's not the dog's responsibility to go out there and die. I feel like he should have left the dog behind. Although the dog does live. He stays behind with Stu, so we're good there. Anyways, let's move on to the last part.